This is 1340 WJOL. We are Will County's News Talk Sports. It's time for Money Talk, brought to you by our friends at NuMark Credit Union. Today, we're going to be talking about home equity lines of credit, HELOCs 101. We'll introduce you in a moment to our experts from NuMark Credit Union, but I first want to remind you that if you're looking to make your money work harder for you, NuMark Credit Union has a great option for you. It's the ultimate high-yield checking account. It is a free checking account that pays interest to debit card users. Earn 5.5% APY on balances up to $25,000 and 1.0 APY on balances over $25K. Open an ultimate high-yield checking account today. Call 815-729-3211 or visit a NuMark office near you. On the Turk Furniture studio line is the Vice President of Lending. It's Laurie Vesey. Hi, Laurie. How you doing today?
I'm well, Scott. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much for coming on. And Whitney Jones is here as well. She's an Assistant Vice President of Consumer Lending. Hello, Whitney.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for calling in this morning. We appreciate it. So let's jump right in. We're going to first, before we get into home equity lines of credit, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, Laurie. How long have you been going at the credit union, and how are things going now at the credit union?
Things are going well. I've been here, previously 4 years and now back for another year, so 5 years. And it has been a great roller coaster ride. So,
a roller coaster in terms of what? Just how the banking industry and credit union industry has gone?
How things have been going lately, interest rates rising.
Okay. The good old economy and everything, right?
That good old economy.
Makes it difficult, makes it challenging. That's why you need professionals like yourself. Whitney, what about you? How long have you been with NuMark?
So I have been with NuMark for 2.5 years now, but in the industry for probably 15.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you got a lot of experience. You've seen a lot of ups and downs as well.
Yes.
Yeah, no doubt.
Ebb and flow.
Yep, ebb and flow is a good way to look at it for sure. All right, so today we're going to talk about HELOCs. For those who don't know, what is a HELOC? Laurie, we'll start with you.
So a HELOC is home equity line of credit. So essentially a line of credit attached to a portion of your home with the equity. Okay.
So when you hear the word HELOC, it stands for Home Equity Line of Credit. It's an acronym. Yep. You got it. All right. Whitney, what are HELOCs good for? And then we'll talk about, so what are the many different things HELOCs are used for?
Sure. So, there's a number of reasons why someone would take out a HELOC, but typically what we see at the credit union is we're paying off credit card debt. So as those interest rates have risen on that credit card debt, HELOCs have been extremely beneficial to pay off that higher yield. And then we see a lot of home renovations. So individuals looking to make improvements on their home, they come in, can take out that equity from the home.
Okay. So let your money work for you, basically, right?
You got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Laurie, let's get into details now, if you will, and be as specific as possible. There are different types of home equity lines of credit available. So what are they, and how do we differentiate, and how do we pick one that makes sense for us?
So right now we have two products. We've got what's called our interest only. It's a 30-year interest only, and you can draw off that for a 10-year period, and you get a 20-year repayment period. We also have a 15-year principal and interest that has a 5-year draw and a 10-year payback period. Difference being the length of each line of credit and how payments are applied to pay back the debt.
Okay, so let's start with the first one, the 10-year 30 years. So you can borrow against it for 10 years, but then you have 30 to pay it. So after the 10 years are up, you have 20 more. You could start paying on that, though, during the first 10 years, correct?
Oh, you definitely. Anytime you take money out of it, you're going to be paying it back.
Okay, good. So what are the advantages? What are the advantages of that one, Laurie?
It just depends on how somebody wants to pay. If you want that fixed rate, if you want that 15-year term and, the lesser of the term, or if you want to stretch it out and pay it for a longer period. So some people only want to pay interest and make that payment which would be smaller than paying that principal and interest. So it's basically up to the person and how they feel comfortable with repaying the money back.
Oh, all right. It's up to them, and you'll advise them on all that?
They'll speak with their financial service rep and get best product for them.
Okay. All right. Makes sense. Whitney, the advantages of a line of credit, home equity line of credit, instead of taking out a loan. Things for, let's say, projects around the house. What are the advantages of the HELOC?
Sure. So to kind of piggyback on what Laurie said, you're only essentially paying your payments if you draw the money. So you can come in and take out a $50,000 HELOC with us line of credit, but until you actually draw the money, payments are not due. So that's different than like a personal loan per se, right? Because once they hand you the money, your payments usually are due 30 to 45 days after they post that loan. The second advantage is you're also only paying interest on what you draw. So while I may have a $50,000 line of credit, if I only draw $15,000, I'm paying interest on that $15,000.
Okay. And that is better than a loan or using another form of payment? How so?
Sure. So once you take out that loan, you're paying interest from the time that the loan posts until the loan concludes. So on a HELOC, you essentially have those payments until you are drawing the money.
Got it. I had this conversation with somebody earlier today, a real estate agent, and they were talking about home equity lines of credit and home improvement. And what's very popular right now is some of the big home improvement stores are giving their customers 24 months to pay off, 0% finance for 24 months. But what a lot of people don't realize, Whitney, is that if you don't pay that down in 24 months, you get hit with the entire finance charge, which will be a monster number.
Correct. Yep. It's always good to read the fine print at the end of something. Usually if it's 0%, it might be too good to be true.
Yeah. Laura, you've heard that happen to people before, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay. So are there certain things that home equity lines of credit can't be used for, though? And how do taxes factor into all this? I'll let either one of you take that because I know there's been some changes made over the last few years.
So NuMark does not do HELOCs on investment properties.
Okay.
So this does have to be a primary residence. And we always advise all of our members and non-members to get with their tax associate. So while we're doing the lending, we really want to leave the taxes up to the experts.
Okay. Whitney, also, does this count against your, for example, if you have, I guess, does this count against your credit? If you get a $50,000 line of credit, does that show up on a credit report as something that you have? I don't think it'll be, it wouldn't be detrimental unless you're maxed out on it. I guess, let me ask you another way. Would this be the same as being, having a balance on a credit card?
So it is essentially just like a credit card on your credit bureau statement.
Okay.
So once you start drawing, that balance is going to list with your line of credit maximum also listing. So just like a credit card, if you're maxing out that credit card, it can be detrimental to your credit score.
Okay. Now, in order to get one of these lines of credit and you have certain projects in mind, do you need to go out and get a quote from a contractor or for something like that? Or is this just basically a credit against the equity in your home?
Yeah, so I mean, typically members and non-members do go out and they kind of get quotes. That way, when they come in and speak to a financial service rep, they can tell us essentially the amount that they're looking for.
Okay.
But that is not a requirement. So as long as you come in and say, I'm looking for a home equity to do home improvements, we do not require documentation to essentially show the invoicing from the contractor.
Okay.
But
So
it is helpful, and we do advise that.
that would be, I think, called a rehab loan. Is that what that would be?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can call it a rehab.
Right. Okay. Laurie, if someone has a home and would like to know if they qualify for a home equity line of credit, what would you suggest they do to prepare to apply?
Well, the first step would be, Scott, they should call one of our financial service representatives on our 800 line or the number that you listed earlier. They can make an appointment to discuss which options would be best for them. And at that time, the financial service rep would also tell them all of the documentation that they would need to get their loan approved. The process is painless. It goes quite fast, and the closings are quick as well. So we have an excellent group of financial service reps that are just waiting to hear from you.
All right. What about documentation, Whitney? Anything specific they need to bring in?
So we do essentially have a list of documentation, but just a few items needed. They're essentially always going to need current proof of income. If you're self-employed, we do request tax returns. We're going to request things like your mortgage statement, insurance, stating that the property is covered, things of that nature.
Okay. Pretty simple. Couple different opinions here, maybe you guys will agree. Laurie, who benefits most from a home equity line of credit?
It's going to be your disciplined borrowers who want to take advantage of their home equity. So with it being interest-only payments, you're going to be disciplined. Eventually, you're going to start paying that principal. Some people get the interest only, but yet they still make principal payments as well. So, or make additional payments to bring their line of credit down, because as you pay, it basically goes back into your line of credit and you can use it later. So again, if I get $50,000, I take $15,000 out initially, but I've paid back $10,000, my line of credit is right back up to $40,000, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it just depends on how the people are utilizing that line of credit.
Okay. Whitney, anything to add to that?
Discipline is one of the best things.
Absolutely. Discipline is a good word when it comes to anything financial, for sure. Whitney, got anything to add there?
Just one more tidbit is we do not have any fees right now to open our HELOC. So some banks and credit unions charge to open up those lines. Right now, NuMark has 0 fees to initiate a HELOC.
All right. So let's walk us through the process now, Whitney. From the phone call that Laurie said that we should make, or go online to newmarkcu.org, talk about the process step by step, so when someone decides to do this, they know exactly what's coming. That always makes them feel more comfortable.
Sure. So really quick and easy. So they would contact our financial service rep, bring in all the documentation that is requested. What will occur is that will be sent off to our underwriting department. There is usually a 48-hour turnaround time for decision. That's because we have to wait on title and tax. And then once the 48 hours is over, we call with decision. So then after that decision is made, member comes in, signs documentation. There is a 3-day rescission period, which means that you can essentially change your mind on the line of credit. Once that is over, the funds become available. So you're typically looking at probably about 5 business days total.
Okay. All right. That's not too bad.
Not at all.
No. Then
Super quick and easy.
Then you can have that beautiful new bathroom or that beautiful new kitchen in about a month or so. That's all.
You bet.
All right, good stuff. Laurie, anything in closing on the topic of home equity lines of credit? They are a really good way to get some things done around the house. You know, there's a lot of people. There are a lot of people that I know that have money, but 98% of everything that they have is stuffed into retirement, which isn't the worst thing in the world. That way you're not going to spend it. But a lot of people do very, very well. They just aren't very liquid. And I think these are the types of people that HELOCs can help out.
I definitely agree with you, Scott.
Wow.
While they're looking to do something for their home, maybe their kids are going off to college, there's a variety of things that they do with their line of credit. So keeping your 401k intact while you use the equity in your house is an excellent way to have liquid assets right there for you.
You got it exactly right. Laurie Vesey and Whitney Jones, guys, thanks so much for your knowledge and your time this morning. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Scott.
All right, take care. Laurie Vesey, the Vice President of Lending, NuMark Credit Union, and Whitney Jones, Assistant Vice President of Consumer Lending. All right, it's time for you now to win a $25 Visa gift card. We're going to take caller number 7, 815-254-7300. That's 815-254-7300. That's the Turk Furniture Studio line. Caller number 7, you're going to win a $25 Visa gift card to NuMark Credit Union. And all you're going to do is go to the Crest Hill branch once I get your name, and you're going to pull into the drive-thru, show them your ID, and you're going to get yourself a $25 Visa gift card. How cool is that? Again, 815-254-7300, 815-254-7300. Call right now, and you are going to be a winner. You're number 1, you're number 2, you're number 3, you're number 4, you're number 5, you're number 6. Hi, WJOL. You're on Money Talk, brought to you by NuMark Credit Union. Who am I speaking to?
John?
John, where are you calling from today, John?
Joliet.
John from Joliet. John, would you like $25 free?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, well, you got it, buddy. Nicely done. John, what's your last name?
You spell it Kraske. Kraske.
Kraske. All right. John, NuMark Credit Union in Crest Hill. You know where it's at Six Corners?
Yeah, yes, I do.
All right, bring your ID. You can go to the drive-thru. You can go into the lobby. Show them the ID. They're going to give you a $25 Visa gift card. How about that?
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, pal. We appreciate you listening, and that's how we roll. Hey, if you're looking to make your money work harder for you, NuMark Credit Union has a great option for you. The Ultimate High Yield Checking is a free checking account that pays interest to debit card users. Earn 5.5 APY on balances up to $25K and 1.0 APY on balances over $25K. Open an Ultimate High Yield Checking account today. Call 815-729-3211 or visit a NuMark office near you.